Hey everybody, so before we start talking about the argumentative persuasive essay, I gotta let you know I was taking a look at the text analysis essays that we just did. But here's the thing, I'm missing a bunch of them. A lot of you have not submitted them yet. Some of you haven't even opened the assignment yet. Listen, the assignment does not get easier with more time between the instruction and the actual writing. It's actually quite the opposite, which I'm sure you realize. I strongly advise you to get that thing written and submitted as soon as possible because you're going to start getting confused between the two essays. It's in your best interest to get that thing done and get it submitted so I can get you some points. Passing first quarter without that 65 points for that essay is going to be awfully difficult, so make good choices. So let's get back to talking about the argumentative and persuasive essay. And you may have noticed by now that I keep on using both those terms. Calling this the argumentative essay versus calling it the persuasive essay, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It pretty much means the same thing. All right, you're trying to persuade your reader to agree with your opinion on something. You're arguing your point of view. And I know that the words argument and argue those words are often connected with like a verbal combat. It's not really exactly what we're talking about here. Personally, I think it's important to remember that it's very difficult to change someone's mind if you're yelling at them. So again, persuasive, argumentative, both mean the same thing in this instance, so I might be going back and forth between those two terms, and it's not going to make a huge difference. You're going to be good to go. I do want to take a little bit of time and talk about some of my own personal experience with argumentative and persuasive language beyond the classroom. Let me take you back to 1993, 94, something like that. I don't know. It was a while ago. So I was going to school, and I had to pick up a part-time job. So I picked up a job as a telemarketer. All right, I was a telemarketer. No, I never called anybody with concern over their vehicle's warranty. That wasn't our deal. I worked for two different telemarketing places. I want to talk about the second one a little bit more. We sold vitamins. We sold a year's supply of vitamins for about $700. And, that was in 93 or 94. But by today's dollar, $700 for a year's supply of vitamins is still ridiculous. Yeah, $700 for a year's supply of vitamins is way, way, way too expensive. Look, throughout this story, it's important to understand that I was much younger and much dumber than I am now. But I thought to myself, well, calling people to try to get them to spend $700 on vitamins seems like a nice way to earn some money. So I started off as a cold caller, which means we didn't actually dial phones. We had computers to do that. And cold calling means that the computer would dial a number, and this person that you were going to connect with, they weren't calling you to find out about vitamins. They were just getting a call seemingly out of the blue by me or someone else that worked for the company to try to get them to buy a year's supply of vitamins for $700. Now, we didn't call random people. We got leads. It's my understanding that our leads came from magazine subscriptions companies, that type of deal. Like if someone subscribed to a magazine that dealt with your health, like Runner's World, Men's Health, Women's Health, Bodybuilding. If it has to do with athletics, they're like, hey, they care about their body. Let's try to sell them some vitamins. And so we would buy the names and numbers of people that subscribe to these magazines. They're called leads, and then that's who we would call them. We would try to sell them vitamins. So like I said, I started off as cold calling, just calling people out of the blue, and I did okay with that. The pay structure for us was set up, we got minimum wage or we got commission. And to make commission, we get a percentage of the sales. But we had to get to a certain number. We had to make a certain amount of sales in order to get that commission check. And that was really just 2 sales per week. And I worked about 20 hours a week. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but you try getting somebody to spend $700 on vitamins. It's harder than you think. But I did okay. I did pretty good. My bosses liked my speaking voice and my telephone demeanor, so they gave me a promotion. I was promoted into the no sales department. No sales worked like this. Let's say you're sitting at home, somebody calls you out of the blue trying to sell you $700 worth of vitamins, and you listen to the whole pitch. You don't buy anything, but you just listen. You make the mistake of not hanging up immediately. If you did that, then your lead goes into the no sales pile, and someone from my department, like me, gives you a call back. And we had a slightly different pitch. We had a slightly different sales pitch than the cold callers. And that's really what I want to get into. So I want to take you through that pitch, and this is a lot of argumentative, persuasive tactics and language going on. But before I do that, it's important for me to tell you about something the company did to try to get people to buy. They would be giving away awards, major awards. If you bought the vitamins, you'd also get an award, and part of my job as a no-saler was to remind people about these awards, and you'll see how those play into the pitch in just a couple minutes. So let's take you through the pitch that I used to use to sell people $700 worth of vitamins. So it would be like this. The computer would call, and then someone would answer hello, and I would be like, hey, hi, this is Mike with Vita Systems. So it's my understanding that one of my staff gave you a call the other day to talk to you about our vitamin program and possibly taking advantage and the major award. Do you remember that call? And they would say yes, and then I would continue. I noticed that you chose not to participate, which is fine, but I did want to kind of check in as to why you made that decision. Most importantly, I want to make sure that you didn't choose not to participate because of something that my associate said or did on the phone. Maybe they made you uncomfortable or offended you in some way, and they didn't, and I knew that. And the people would always be like, no, they were fine, which is all part of the pitch. The function of that part of the pitch is to make them feel cared for and to throw them off that I'm trying to sell them again. So let's get back to the pitch. Well, it's good to hear that you weren't offended or anything like that. One other thing I wanted to do before I let you go, I just wanted to go over a couple things just to make sure that it was properly explained, because I got to admit, I was a little surprised that you chose not to participate, especially with those 5 major awards. And sometimes at this point they would say, yeah, I understand the major awards, but I wouldn't let that stop me. So the next thing I would say would be, I also think it's important for you to understand how this works on our end. And I think if you do that, this whole promotion will make a whole lot more sense to you. Now, every major company has an advertising budget. All right, if your business does not advertise, no one's going to know it exists. And the most common types of advertising most companies use are television spots, radio spots, or newspaper or magazine advertisements. I'm sure you're familiar with all of those. My company wants to do things a little bit different. We want to get word of mouth advertising. And the reason we want to do that is because we're a health product. And I think you would agree that you would take the word of a trusted family member or friend more than that of some paid celebrity spokesperson. I mean, this is your health we're talking about. Am I right? Wouldn't you trust a friend or a family member more than a paid spokesman? And then, the person says, yes, they would, which, of course, who wouldn't? Right. So we're taking our monies that would normally go towards these types of ads and paying a spokesperson, and instead we purchased a slew of these major awards. And for your participation in our offer today, we're going to make sure you get one of those major awards. Let me be clear on this. We're not going to maybe give you one of them. You are absolutely 100% guaranteed to receive one of these major awards. Now, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like you to grab a piece of paper and something to write with so we can just jot down these major awards. And actually, so you students, grab something so you can jot this down. Pause the video a sec. Trust me, this is cool. Okay, you got something to write with? Something to write it down? Good. Now, if I could tell that they really, really honestly grabbed something to write with and something to write on, it was a really good sign. Sometimes people faked it, and I knew it because they were like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I knew they weren't, but it doesn't. If I knew that they were writing this stuff down, good sign for me. Okay, so then we get back to the pitch. All right, let's jot down the 5 major awards. Okay, I have to interrupt myself again. I know I keep doing this. I can only remember 4 of the major awards. I know there were 5. I can only remember 4. So we're going to, from now on, switch it to 4 major awards, okay? So let's jot down the 4 major awards. Ready? Number 1, a brand new Cadillac Coupe de Ville. You could just write down Caddy if you're not sure how to spell Coupe de Ville. Now, if that's the major award that you end up with, we're certainly not going to mail that to your house. Ha, 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 ha. Yes, it was a fake laugh. Instead, what we'd do is we'd set up an appointment with your local Cadillac dealership. You would go down, you pick out the car, the color, the options. To be perfectly honest, we are awfully flexible. Load it up. Put all the options on it. And that's the first major award we're offering, a brand new Cadillac Coupe de Ville. And wouldn't you look stylish tooling around your neighborhood in that car? Let's talk about the second major award. The second major award is an all-inclusive paid vacation to Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii? And if they say yes, I would go with, well, isn't it beautiful? And if they said no, I would say, you're going to love it. So it didn't really matter. Well, what this would include, we'd include airfare and accommodations and all the meals and drinks on the resort. If you choose to go off resort, you're on your own there. But besides that, we'll totally take care of you. A nice, relaxing, luxurious vacation is the second major award. The third major award, the diamond tennis bracelet. Apparently a tennis bracelet is some style of bracelet. I'm not a jewelry guy. Did you notice that I said diamond? I can't say diamond unless I really mean diamond. I didn't say diamond-L, cubic zirconium, diamondish, or anything else. We're talking real diamonds. This would be a stunning piece of jewelry for yourself to wear or for that special someone to wear. Now let's jot down the fourth major award. The fourth major award is $2,000 cash. Now, we would never send $2,000 cash through the mail if you were to receive this award. Instead, what we do is we cut you a cashier's check and you just bring that down to the bank and boom, you are $2,000 richer. Now here comes one of the most important parts of the pitch. Now let me ask you a question. If you participated in today's promotion, and you end up with a year's supply of vitamins that are going to make you feel great, so much so that you're going to tell your friends and family, thus giving us the word of mouth advertising we're looking for. And in terms of those major awards, if all you got was the last one on the list, and what's the last one on the list? And this is where they say $2,000. If that's all you got, are you going to be disappointed? And what happens is they do some math in their head real quick, and they're like, okay, I spend $700, but I get $2,000, and that there is profit. And if they're comfortable with that, then that's where we would ask for the credit card number. And that is where the no sales department made most of its sales. Now, let's get into the reality of the situation. As far as I know, and I don't know all the ins and outs of all the details of the company I used to work for, but it's my understanding that we gave away one caddy a year, one trip to Hawaii a year, one check for $2,000. Everybody else got the diamond tennis bracelet, which was a piece of garbage. Yeah, technically it had diamonds on it, but you could go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy a saw blade with real diamonds on it. Just because they're real diamonds does not mean that they're pretty. Jewelry grade diamonds need to be of a certain size, a certain clarity, and they need to be cut properly, which the bracelets that we gave away were not. They were junk. And that's what just about everybody got. But when I asked what was the last thing on that list, and the listener says $2,000, what happens is people assume that the list that we wrote down of the major awards was arranged from most valuable to least valuable. But it was not. I never said that it was. Does the structure of the pitch give that impression? I suppose it does, but legally it does not. And that's why we were able to get away with that. And I say get away with that with some shame. Admittedly, I didn't really fully recognize how dishonest this company was. I only worked there for a few months, but they worked really hard on making sure their salespeople believed in this stuff as much as the customers did. So all of us were a little bit stupid. Unless we totally knew what was going on, then we were cool with it. And then and believe me, I worked with plenty of people that did, and they just weren't very nice people. And in case you're wondering, some of my bosses way up the ladder, some of them got arrested because they did some other things that broke it was a real sketchy company. In fact, in the mid-90s, Buffalo and Las Vegas were two hot spots for sketchy telemarketing companies, and I was a part of one of them for a little while. So pretty much everyone got the lousy bracelet. Everyone thought they were probably getting the $2,000. Pretty much everybody was disappointed, but wow, look what language did there. This was a pitch that I gave to adults, professionals, people who own their own home. And they would give me their credit card number to go with this because the pitch was so well set up. So that's the power of persuasive language. And admittedly, this style is it's tricky, it's underhanded, but I think it's important that you're aware of these tactics to protect yourself in the future. And we're going to use some of these similar tactics in a much less underhanded and tricky way to get our own points across. That's about it for today. I put together a real small quiz on the spiel I just gave you. So as long as you listen, it's just some multiple choice questions to kind of show that you watched this and you understood the basics and whatnot. So take care of that celebration of knowledge that's connected with this video. Make sure you submit it so I can give you some points, and we'll see you again tomorrow.